All right, so back to what I was saying. I was talking about how to get the free hands-on exercises, and they are right here. You want to go, oh shoot, I keep forgetting. You want to go to, if you're in the group, you want to go to the featured section. So it should be right here on the screen. If you're on your mobile device, then you may have to hit the hamburger up in the upper left-hand corner. If you don't see it right here, then you can just go to the featured section and you're looking for this Welcome to the Locker Room post, which has the link to the 100 free exercises. It was also emailed to you. So as soon as you join the locker room, we do collect your email address because you, a lot of times you, like, how many groups do you belong to? There's a ton of groups out there and you don't see all the stuff that's happening. So we do collect your email address. You do get an agenda for this room as well as our weekly newsletter. So, anyway, so you should have an email called Welcome to the Locker Room. If you're brand new and you joined the locker room and you don't have that email, please contact us, support@fasteneasyqbo.com, and we can take a look at what's going on with your account because it is important that you get those emails from us. All right. So that is the free exercises. Also, as a member of the locker room, you get a free exercise of the week, which is what we are going to do today. And actually today you're going to get 2 exercises because I was gone last week for the wedding. So you're going to get 2 exercises. You get the free exercise of the week, as well as you get to participate live in the weekly live streams, which is what we're happening right here. So all the people that are chatting with me are already in the locker room. And if you want to join us live, you're watching this recording on YouTube, then make sure you click the link below so that you can get access to that. Okay. So I usually do a whole speech. Well, I'll just kind of try and abbreviate it. The exercise of the week is part of our subscription product, which is the QBO gym. Okay, so the locker room, the gym locker room that's where you can come. You can hang out for free. You get tons of free stuff. But if you want to level up your game, then you can join the gym. The gym is a simulated environment where you get to actually be a bookkeeper for a fictitious business owner for an entire year. Okay, so you can get a whole year's worth of experience. The reason we created it is because so many people said, oh, well, I'm certified or whatever, but I can't get a job because I don't have experience. And so we created a way for you to get experience without getting a job. And you get to go through all of these different scenarios and practice and actually learn how to use QuickBooks Online and how to be a bookkeeper. So Joel will, if you're not in the gym, Joel will put the link in there in the description. And if you're watching the recording, of course, it'll be down below. Everything that you do in the gym is tracked in Booksmatch, which is your dashboard that tells you, oh, good times, not showing up now. I don't know if you guys were on the replay on or the cleanup live stream. I had all sorts of internet issues, so I might still be a little slow here. I don't know. But everything that you do is tracked. All of your skills are verified in this really cool dashboard. You can see how you compare to everyone else in the pool. You can see what skills you have learned and reinforced. We track 3 specific metrics. One of those metrics is consistency. The reason that we do all of this is so that we can show you off to the world. So you can, in your profile, you can click the little button that says open to work, and people can find you. We are actively engaged in reaching out to accounting firms and people who have jobs listed on Indeed and Monster, to point them to you. And so they want to know what skills have you learned and verified while you're working in the gym? And one of the things that they want to make sure that you do is that we want to make sure that you are consistent. And the way we measure your consistency is if you do an exercise at least every 2 weeks. Okay, so every 2 weeks we want you inside the gym actually working on something so that the people know that when they are looking at your profile that you're active. This was specifically requested by somebody who one of our a recruiting lady that we worked with to develop this, and she said her biggest frustration was reaching out to people who were no longer looking for work. And it's not enough to like have the little open to work button, because that just indicates that, like you could have turned that on and forgot all about it. She was like, she wanted us to check in with you every week to make sure that you're actually active. We thought every week was a little excessive, so we changed it to 2 weeks. And we said, we're not going to just have them check in to say that they're still looking for work. We're actually going to have them do an exercise. And so if you have fully completed the year of the gym, and we have a full year of the gym plus year 2, which is the gym, but a little bit more challenging, all included for the same price. And but if you have completed all of the exercises that we have, and some people have, then we still have to add exercises to keep you consistent, to make sure that you have something to do. So that's why we have the exercise of the week. But we have it has the added bonus of, here's an exercise that we're adding every week, and we can go over together on the live stream. If you are an active subscriber to the gym, then the exercise of the week is unlocked when you get 250 points. Okay, so the whole gym experience is gamified, and you're earning points and badges, and there's dings and whistles and all sorts of things. And once you earn 250 points, the exercise of the week is unlocked. The reason that we don't unlock it in the beginning is because there's a lot of other work that you could be doing, so you don't need it. The reason we unlock it at all, before you're even finished, is because so many people asked for it. They wanted to have the exercise of the week. So this is what we are going to be doing today, is the exercise of the week. Now, Joel is going to post it in the chat, the first exercise that we're doing. Now, I will tell you that we are having trouble with the ordering of the exercise. So if you've been following along, and every time you do an exercise, you check it off and it disappears, then you're fine. But if you have several built up, then it might be challenging for you to find the ones that we're working on. If you are a member of the gym, in order to get Booksmatch credit, you have to go through the gym and click on the things. Okay, so you have to go in here and exercise the week. Remember, when you go to your dashboard, it's a different course. So you have to click on it through there in order for you to get Booksmatch credit. Joel's going to put it in the chat, and you can click the link, you can do the exercise, and everyone who's here today who's not a member of the gym can do the exercise and follow along with me, but doing that's not going to give you Booksmatch credit. Another thing people ask me is if they do the exercise a second time, if they get the Booksmatch credit, and the answer is no. You can always go back and do more exercises. So if you click up here that says past exercises, you can redo an exercise, but you don't get Booksmatch credit a second time. If you do the exercise, say today you are not a member of the gym, and so you're just going through the exercise as part of the live stream, and you do the exercise, great, wonderful, fine. And then later you decide to join the gym. And then when you do that same exercise in the gym, that's when you would get the Booksmatch credit. All right, I hope that makes sense. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in because we are so late today. All right, so the first exercise is this one, number 30. This is the one actually from last week. And so right here it says, click here to practice creating a balance sheet. That's what we are going to be working on today. Now, we have, since the beginning of the year, been working through the Pro Advisor challenges that are inside your QBOA account, okay? So we're almost finished. We will be finished at the end of this month. So I think beginning in September, we will be starting a new series of exercises. But for right now, through the end of August, we're working through these Pro Advisor challenges, okay? The Pro Advisor challenges are actually Intuit's exercises that are inside your QBOA account. So let me show you what I mean. So here I am logged into a QBOA account. You can tell that it's a QBOA, that means accountant account, because it says accountant up at the top, because the left side is gray, and because it's divided into this, it has your practice up at the top and then your books down at the bottom. Okay, so if all of those things are true, that means that you are in an accountant account. You will not see what we're about to show you if you're just in a regular QBO subscription. Okay. So inside your QBOA account, if you go to Pro Advisor and select Training, then you'll notice there's these 4 sections. So this is and I don't know why it does that sometimes. So we are landing in Training Home. Then you can go to Personalized Path. What Personalized Path does is you answer some questions about like what your goals are, and then it will feed you the specific training that matches your goals. The Certification Hub is where you go to take your certification tests if you're interested in that. Intuit provides 3 different levels of certification: the basic or core certification, the advanced level certification, and then the payroll certification. So that's where you go to take your tests. And then the training library is where we're going to be today. And the training library is all of the training that Intuit has available for you. Now, the product training is the most obvious one. That's the one where it lands first. And you'll see QuickBooks Online is kind of open, so I can close that. And then you can see there's other products that they have training for. And then if you scroll down, there's even more training that's not related to certifications. Where we're going to be today is inside the QuickBooks Online training. And then you'll notice that there are, so there's these different tiles, so that's grouped into the different areas that they're training you on. So if I go back to my exercise, you'll notice that it tells you exactly where to find the Pro Advisor Challenge. So we've gone to Pro Advisor, then Training. We've gone to the Training Library tab. We're already in the QuickBooks Online section. So now today we're going to go into the Reports tile. And this is where we're going to live today, because today we're going to be talking about some simple reports. Now, I mentioned earlier about emails. I email the agenda every week. I try and do it. I typically send it Friday morning. I try not to send it Friday morning because we also send the newsletter Friday morning, and I know that's a lot. But honestly, I typically wait until the very last minute. So sorry about that. But anyway, so make sure you're getting the agenda, because then, like I talked about in the agenda, I talked about the fact that that this is a Pro Advisor challenge, and that these exercises are very simple. Okay, we're not going to do a deep dive in reports today. This is more for beginners, and we will be doing a deeper dive later. Because that is a super valuable skill, to be able to run reports and be able to interpret them, to be able to help your business owner know what they're looking at. Okay. All right. So we are going to go to the reports tile, which is right here. And then under the reports tile, you'll notice that there are these different sections. So there's beginner skills, intermediate skills, and advanced skills. The intermediate skills are all of the things that are tested on the ProAdvisor on the basic level or core certification test. The advanced skills are the topics that are on the advanced level certification test. So let's see what this exercise is. Oops, not that one. This one. Okay, so this is a beginner. Well, this first exercise we're going to do today is a beginner skill. Okay, so this is not going to be on any of the certification tests. They're just going to expect that you know this. Okay, so we're going to go into the beginner section, and there's only one area. So we're going to go to navigating the report center. Okay. So if you'll notice on the right-hand side, okay, under topics, then there is the ProAdvisor challenge. Sometimes when you click this link, it takes you there. Other times it doesn't. Today it doesn't. That means that there is something in the way of that ProAdvisor challenge. So I'm just going to scroll to see what's in the way. Oh, and here it is. So this type of training, they have these different tabs, and you have to go through all of the tabs in order for this continued training to turn green. So I'm going to go there. Okay, so I'm going to keep going, see if there's anything else in the way. The other thing that is in the way sometimes is a knowledge check. So they want you to like learn the information before you go on to the challenge, which I think is backwards. I feel like you should do the thing and then be tested on it. That's kind of like my whole philosophy in life. And all of our fast and easy courses and all, like, we want you to do the thing before you're tested on it. But anyway, we'll just see. Let's see this together. What is this? Why is it important to check the accounting method in a report? So if you are new, let me just remind you what the accounting method is. So you're either going to be it's either going to be cash or accrual. So if your accounting method is cash, that means you are only paying attention to money that you have in hand. Okay? So if people owe you money, if you owe people money, that's not even considered. You're only looking at the money that you have in hand. Okay? Accrual is the opposite of that. Accrual means that you are accounting and including money that you owe other people, so bills that you have yet to pay, and money that other people owe you. So you send out an invoice, you're waiting for somebody to pay it, okay? So that is, you're going to keep track of like all of that kind of future stuff when it's accrual. So let's see what the question is. Okay. Why is it important to check the accounting method in a report? Because changing the accounting method may affect who can access the report. No. Because changing the accounting method may result in different transactions showing in a report. Yes, because the invoices is the money that hasn't yet been collected, and the bills are what's owed but hasn't yet been paid. So I think that's the answer. Let's see what the others are. Because changing the accounting method may affect how the report can be exported. No. Because the selected method determines what customization options are available for the report. No. That might be true. Like there might be some customizations that are only available, but really the answer is this one. So let's see. Yay, we got it right. It's always embarrassing when I do these live streams and I don't get it right. All right. So once we know that, more training. Okay, here's the actual ProAdvisor challenge. So the way this is set up, they give you the task, which is what we call the scenario. And then they tell you how to check if you did it right. But they don't give you the step-by-step. And then later they give you the step-by-step, but there's no like pictures so you know what you're doing, which is why we prefer our method of doing things, which actually tells you step-by-step with pictures exactly what to do. Now, I mentioned that almost all of our exercises start in the sample company, so I'm going to load that. You guys, if you're here live, you should know how to get to the sample company. You click the gear icon. It's now called the settings cog. We're starting to see that term pop up in some documentation. So so you might see that, but we forever have been calling it the gear icon. So now we're going to just click sample company. When we load the sample company, then it will log you out of your accountant account. Okay. Now remember I said inside your accountant account is where you take the tests. So if you are taking a certification test, which is open book, you can look stuff up. If you're doing that though, you don't want to load the sample company while you're taking the test, because you'll lose your test. Okay, so if you're in our courses, we'll teach you how to have both open at the same time, but that's just like a big no. Like I just always want to point that out. Okay. So now we're in the sample company, Craig's Design and Landscaping Services. Craig is our best friend. He's our business owner, our fictitious business owner that we do all of our work for. So now that I have this sample company open, now we're going to start. There's my little warning about it. Okay. So here's again what we're going to do. Here's our scenario. I didn't read this before, so let me go ahead and read it now. So Craig wants to see how much his assets were worth in the previous month, and he has asked you to help run a report for him. Okay, so because he wants to know how much his assets are worth, that's going to be on a balance sheet. Okay, so again, that like if that's brand new, you need to know what type of accounts show up on the balance sheet versus what shows up on the profit and loss. Our second exercise today is going to be the profit and loss. Today we're going to be looking at the balance sheet. So he asked you how much his assets were worth. That means we're looking at a balance sheet. He wants to know in the previous month, so we're going to look at that. And he asked you to help run a report for him. So here's what you need to know. He uses accrual-based accounting, and you're going to have to run a report, and you're going to set the reporting period for the last month. Okay, so so this exercise is created with a software called Scribe. And Scribe has a Chrome extension that if you load the Chrome extension, then you will see this little guide me button. Okay, so the Chrome extension is this right here. It's called Scribe AI Documentation, SOPs, and I think screenshots probably is what that is. So if you have loaded the Chrome extension and it's on, a lot of people ask me if they have to have a Scribe account. You do not have to have a Scribe account, but if you have the thing loaded, then when you click this, you won't even see the guide me button if you don't have the extension. And then when you click on it, and if you have the sample company open already, then you will see the exercise on the one side and the sample company on the other. So you can follow along right next to each other. And I'm just dragging this to make it a little bigger. Unfortunately, I cannot make the text bigger for you. I can only make the text bigger on this side. So hopefully you guys have your own version. Joel did put the link in the chat. So we will, anyway, so hopefully you can see. Okay, so now that I have it, so this is what we did. Okay, so this is what we're doing. We are running, remember our scenario. Craig wants to see how much his assets were worth. So assets are the things that you own. Okay, so what does a business own? That it owns all of the cash sitting in its bank accounts. It owns like furniture, equipment, vehicles. So it owns stuff. It owns inventory. Okay, so inventory is an item that you are going to sell later. So you buy it specifically to sell it, okay, or to sell, or to use it to create parts to sell something else. But okay, so those are the things you own. That's called an asset. When you are accrual-based accounting, another thing that you own, technically, is the money that is owed to you. Holly, I think it was. Yeah, well, I'll explain that again in just a second. Okay, so to get there, we're going to go to reports on the left-hand side. We're going to click reports. The reports are in the sample company. These 3 reports are already marked as favorites, and balance sheet is one of them. So we're just going to select that one. Okay, now, so this is the report. It automatically, I'm going to just make this smaller again so you can see here. Okay, so here's the report down here. It shows the assets, and it automatically did it at the asset value as of today. Okay, so the exercise wants us to have it be last month. Okay, that was the exercise. Let me go back and read it again. Craig wants to see how much his assets were worth in the previous month. Okay, so the previous month. Okay, so we're going to go. So right here is the report period. Okay, so right now it's showing this year to date. Now, here's an important thing. Let me take off my screen share. I know that's scary because I lost my screen share earlier, but here's an important thing about the date range for balance sheet. It took me so long to figure this out. I was so confused for so long. The difference between a balance sheet and a profit and loss is that a balance sheet reflects the balance at a specific point in time. Okay, so today is August 2nd, and this is going to be reflective of August 2nd. Okay, the profit and loss shows over a period of time the money that came in and the money that came out. Okay, so profit and loss over a period of time, balance sheet as of a single point in time. So if that's the case, then why do we have a date range here? Why doesn't it just show me, why don't I just have one date to select for the balance sheet if it's a date in a specific point in time? Okay. The reason is, and this again, it took me forever to figure this out, the reason is because although the balance here is going to be only reflective of the last day, okay, so see that report titles as of August 2nd. So here it is, the date range, it's this year to date. So this date, the second date, is what's going to be on your report, and that's what the balance is going to reflect. But in QuickBooks Online, if I click on a number on the report, it's going to show me a list of all of the transactions that make up that number. So, and this is just a pop-up. I'm going to click that. Okay. So this is all of the list of transactions that make up that number. But here's where the date range comes becomes important, because the date, so that it's for the transaction report. So when I see a transaction report, when I click on that number and I'm like, what makes up all of that? What transactions make up this total? And I click on that number, it's only going to give me a list within that range. Okay? That, I hope that is clear. It's a little bit hard to see in the sample company because the sample company only has 90 days worth of data. But like in real life, I could say, well, let me just change this to, okay, see how these are, this includes a February transaction, April transaction, July. Let me just go from July 1st. So if I change this to July 1st, Okay, look, all of those disappeared. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my summary report. I'm not going to save it. I'm going to exit it. Okay, it did not change it here, so I'm just going to change this date to be the same. 2024. Okay, now I have to run report. Okay, notice the checking is 1201. Okay, I'm going to run report. This number doesn't change. It's still 1201 because I didn't change the second date. I only changed the first date. So this number, the total, is still the total on August 2nd. But when I click this, look, it's only going to show me the transactions from that date range. Okay? I hope that's helpful because, oh my gosh, that took me so long to understand. It took me so long to understand. All right. Now, Holly was asking, oh my gosh, why do I keep doing that? Okay. So Holly asked me to explain again the difference between accounting or accrual and cash accounting. Okay. So cash accounting is only reflects the money that you have on hand. Okay. It only reflects, oh, I sold this thing and you gave me money. Great. Now I have that money in my bank account and now I have less of like that thing. Okay. So cash accounting is only the actual money that you have on hand. Accrual accounting includes the things that people owe you and the things that you owe other people. Okay, so what you owe, let me reverse that. What other people owe you, that's called accounts receivable. If you've sent a bunch of invoices, and even if they haven't paid them, in accrual accounting, we act as if they have already paid them. And the same is if the opposite is true. So accounts payable is the term for money that you owe to other people, but you haven't paid yet. Okay, so it's payable. So you got a telephone bill for $200, and you haven't paid it yet. The money has not left your account, but you consider it that you have already paid it. So this balance sheet is currently, let's go back. It's set to accrual right here. Actually, let me go back to the exercise because that might be, let me see what it says. So we run report. Oh, we're done with the exercise. Okay. Let's see. Oh no, here it is. Sorry, I skipped ahead. Okay, so we clicked balance sheet. All right, so in the exercise, so we're on step 4 of the exercise, you want to select the period of last month. Okay, so right here, you can select last month, right there. Okay, and one of the things that annoys the heck out of me with reports in QBO is that you have to remember to click Run Report. If you're new, they are undergoing, QuickBooks Online is going under a massive change in the reporting structure. And so some of the reports are still what they call classic view, which is this one. And others are now what they call modern view, which was the transaction list we saw just now. You saw the little pop-up that said that, introducing modern view. Okay, right? So it looks a little bit different. And one of the nice things about modern view is that the changes are made immediately. You don't have to remember to click the Run Report button. But this one is old, so we have to click Run Report. Okay, and also in the exercise it says to confirm the button next to accrual is selected right there. Okay, so now we're going to click Run Report. Okay, so now it is as of July. Well, it's only August 2nd, so the number's not going to be that much different. But anyway, all right. And then for the exercise, it says you have now run the balance sheet. From here, you could email, print, or export this report, which are, all of these things. Okay, so now let me close this report and point out to you the two accounts. Okay, so this is accounts receivable. Accounts receivable is the money that people owe you on an invoice. So if you send an invoice and you give people a amount of time to pay, then it doesn't matter whether they paid you or not. It's still considered an asset. Okay, the reverse is true on the accounts payable. Okay, so this is the amount of money that you owe. You got your telephone bill, you haven't paid it yet, but in the accrual accounting, it considers that you owe that money, and so therefore, like, it's a done deal. So what happens if I change it to cash? If I change the accounting method right here on cash, if I change it, again, I have to remember to click Run Report. Okay, the amount of money in the checking account hasn't changed, right? It's still the same, but notice what is missing on the report. There is no more accounts receivable. Okay, it's gone. Let me switch it back. Accrual, Run Report. Okay, now the accounts receivable is there. And if I go back to cash, Run Report. Okay, no, it's not there anymore. All right, and same with accounts payable. So there are still liabilities. Liability is different than accounts payable. Liability is like a credit card that you owe, a loan that you took out, a tax liability. Those are still things that you owe, but it's not accounts payable. It's not a bill. Okay, so that is the difference between cash and accrual. Now, Holly is asking, what type of company would use cash accounting? And that is most of them. So, in fact, most companies start out as cash accounting. You don't actually have to. You don't have to use accrual accounting until you reach like some threshold. I can't remember what it is. If I have any tax people here, maybe you can fill us in. I want to say it's like $10 million in revenue, but it could be like $1 million. I'm pretty sure it's like in the millions, okay? So you can do cash accounting until you reach a certain threshold. And the reason is taxes, right? It's because if you are, let's say, for example, that you have $1 million that that people owe you. People owe you $1 million, but they haven't paid you a penny of it, okay? Well, you're still liable for taxes on the $1 million, okay? That's accrual accounting. That's accrual accounting. But let's say nobody's paid you $1 million and you have all these expenses, but you haven't paid them either because you haven't. That's still considered an expense. Like, it's still considered an offset. So maybe you don't owe as much taxes because you haven't actually. So it's kind of, when you're in accrual accounting, it's kind of like this mind game of like what's happening in the future. Okay. So somebody asked me about inventory. I just noticed that now too. I didn't realize that that accrual affected inventory. When we were on accrual, the inventory was considered an asset. But when we were on cash, that inventory asset account disappeared. I just learned that this second. I'm not an accountant, so so apparently that doesn't count. All right, let's see. What type of, okay, in Canada, the tax authority requires that irrespective of the size of the company, reporting must be accrual method. Interesting. So in Canada, there is only accrual. There is no such thing as cash. That's interesting. Okay. All right. So that's the end of our first exercise. And if you did this with me and you are if you're an active member in the gym, then you want to make sure and click this little, ka-ching, you want to get your points. It's not actually 0 points. That's just because I'm in the admin account. I don't get to earn points. So anyways, you want to make sure and do that, because that's clicking here and then clicking here are the only way that you get your Booksmatch credit. Okay, so you want to make sure and do that. All right, I'm going to come back to the marketing prompt, and we're going to do exercise 31, which is also reports. So next we're going to take a look at the profit and loss. Okay, so this is what I was saying. You have to scroll all the way to the bottom because we are having problems. I have already emailed our, development people to figure out like, why is this happening? But for some reason, exercise 31 is at the bottom. I can't get it to go at the top. So anyway, so now we're going to talk about customizing a report. Okay, so here is the exercise to customize a report. Okay, your client Craig asked you to help him create a customized report to see how his business is performing on a quarter-by-quarter basis. Okay, so then we have a bunch of customization stuff that we're going to do. We already talked a little bit about customization. You can customize the date range, which you just saw, and you can change the accrual method or the accounting method, as we just saw. For those of you who come from the desktop world, I never did. I never came from desktop. But what I'm told is that you can't do that on reports. That you have to like have it set in the company, and to change it is a big deal. That's what I'm told. Alrighty. So, what did Seth David teach you? I'm interested. I missed, was that about the accrual in Canada? Okay. All right. So let's go through our customizing reports. Okay. So again, this is a Pro Advisor challenge. We're not going to go through it again. Oh, the inventory being accrual you learned from Seth David. Okay. So we're not going to go through this again, for this exercise, but notice again, you can find it by going in the same way we did. This time it's going to be under intermediate skills, which means that it's a topic that's tested on the test. And then you would go to customizing reports. Okay. So I already have my sample company open. So we're just going to click guide me, and it's going to go to the right page. So I'm going back here I'll make this a little bit bigger for you. Okay. So we're going to go to, anyway, our sample company again. Okay. So now we're going to go again to reports right here. And then again, or this time we're going to select profit and loss. Remember, balance sheet is one moment in time. Profit and loss is over a period of time. Okay. The balance sheet is just going to show your balance, liabilities, and equity types of accounts. And then your profit and loss is going to show your income and expense types of accounts. Okay. In the chart of accounts. So here we are in the profit and loss. Okay. Let's go and take a look at it. Okay. So it is over a period of time, and it defaulted to this year to date. So this year through today, okay? And it's already set as accrual, although I'm not sure how much of a difference that makes. Mostly the difference is on the balance sheet. And here are all of our income accounts at the top, and then our expense accounts at the bottom. Where'd it go? Total income. Okay. And we're getting to, okay. Oh, here we go. Here's expenses. Expenses start right here. Okay. So here's the profit, the money that came in. If we look at the total down at the bottom, the money that went out. So they made a little bit of a profit this year. And then I don't have time to go into this other miscellaneous thing. Okay, so anyway, so this is our profit and loss. And just like we saw with the balance sheet, all of these numbers, you can click on them and you can see exactly the transactions that make up that number. And it's going to be the range of the range that is specified here. Okay. All right, so let's see what our exercise says. Okay, so we're going to change this to, so we're there, profit and loss. We want the report period select this year. So this is just this year to date, which means it ends on today, but the exercise wants us to do the entire year. So we're going to change it to this year, which is January 1st through December 31st. Okay, so that's that. Now, you'll notice that right now we just have totals. But what we want to do is what Craig wants to do in this exercise is he wants to compare. He wants to compare, let's read it again. Your client, or did we not? I don't think we read this. Oh my gosh, guys. All right. So what's the scenario here? Sorry, I missed this. Okay, your client Craig asked you to help him create a customized report to see how his business is performing on a quarter-by-quarter basis. Okay, so what we're seeing right here now is just the totals on that in that date range. Okay, and it's still showing today because I did not click Run Report up here. Even though I changed this, I did not click Run Report. Okay, so he wants to see it quarter by quarter, and let's see, quarter by quarter. Okay, so we're going to create I guess that's all we're doing. Okay, so we're going to create a customized profit and loss. We're going to make the date range this year. We're going to display columns by quarters, and we're going to show percentage, and then we're going to rename the report. Okay, so let's do one thing at a time. So I've changed the date range to here, Run Report. And we're not going to see the numbers change again because in the sample company, there's only 90 days worth of data. So we're not going to see that change. Okay. So we did profit and loss. We changed it to this year. Okay. So now we're going to, in the display columns by field, select quarters. Okay. So right now, this right here is what we're talking about. Display columns by, and we have total only. Okay, and we could select all of these things. But in this exercise, what we want it to do is we want it to show the quarters. Okay, so let me just run that right now. Okay, so you can see now it's showing for each quarter what, that's interesting. Why would there be any, it's only 90 days worth of data, so why would there be any in January? What is, this is August, July, June, May. Anyway, I don't have time to investigate that. But anyway, so here are each of the quarters and the amounts that take up that make up the total. Okay. All right. But what we want to do is we want to see them by percentages. Okay. So here is compare another period. Okay, so we're displaying, so right now all we've done is we've displayed the previous period. But now what we want to do is we want to compare the previous period, and here's what we can do. Okay, so we can see the percentage of the dollar change, the percent change. We can have a percent of row, percent of column. In this one, we want to say percent of row. Okay, and so what that's going to do, let's run the report. Oops. Let's run the report. There we go. Okay, so here is the amount. Okay, here's the amount. Now, if we're looking at design income, let me go backwards. Here's the total. The total was $2,250. Okay, for design income, that's 100%. Okay. Now what it's showing is, okay, well, in this quarter, which is the third quarter, we made $1,275, and that is 56.67% of this number right here. So this is 56 and 2/3% of 2250. And then the current, so this quarter, okay, is made $975 in that quarter, which is 43 1/3% of the total. Okay, so that is what we are seeing here. Let's see. The profit and loss report has been run the way Craig requested, but the report header still needs to be changed. It's always a good idea to change the title of the report to be reflective of what the report actually is. This is really especially true with when you make customizations, so that you can say on the report like what it's actually showing. Okay, so where it says profit and loss right here. Okay, so what I did was I just clicked, let me click out of it. Okay, so you see how there's this pencil here? I don't have to click the pencil. I can just click anywhere in here. And then right here, I can change that to special quarterly performance report. Okay, and then I'm going to tab out of it, and I'm just going to click out of it so that it kind of goes back to there. Okay, now in the report, it says, or in the exercise, it says, oh, this is okay. Now we can just export it, email, print it, or whatever. Okay, I'm going to close this. But what you probably want to do is you want to save this. If you ever want to use it again, then you probably want to save the customization. And when you save the customization, you have a bunch of options. Well, once you've saved it. Okay, so once you've saved it, you can have it in a group if you want. You can share it with Craig if you want. Once I click save, then it goes in my, I'm going to go back to my report list. It goes in my custom reports right here. Okay, so this is my custom report, and now I have some additional things that I can do with this custom report, but that's outside of the exercise. The exercise just stopped with we created it. Okay? All right, so Ilma says, would you say a food truck would usually use cash accounting, but if they allow credit to pay later, then they would do accrual accounting? In the case of a food truck, like that is a cash-based business. That's a cash-based business because I give you food, you give me money. Like on the income side, that is absolutely cash accounting. The question is going to be whether they, I mean, rarely, if ever, unless they're doing like catering maybe, and they have an invoice for, okay, I'm going to do all this food for your wedding or whatever, and so pay me half up front and then half afterwards, or like something like that. But I think that's pretty rare. Like mostly it's going to be cash when you were talking about income. If we're talking about expenses, however, then that would entirely depend on the business and how they're financing their equipment and what they have to pay for. Do they have to, pay to store the truck somewhere? Like if they're paying some kind of a storage fee, or, for power, do they have to pay, on the expense side, that could be accrual. And so, yeah. Okay, so that's it for the exercise. Again, don't forget that if you are in the gym, you want to make sure that you click this so that you get your points and so that you get your skill points to be added to Booksmatch. Anybody who is watching you on Booksmatch, I didn't have time to go do a whole big demo of Booksmatch, but if somebody has added you to their watch list, then the skill that you just earned instantly appears for them. Okay, so they instantly know that you just upskilled. For you, your own account, you would have to, it only refreshes like every 10 minutes. So you have to wait for 10 minutes before you actually see it reflected on your Booksmatch account. All right, now let's go back to the marketing prompts, because one of the benefits of the QBO gym is that we give you marketing prompts. So that the reason we did this, okay, let me take off screen for a second. Okay, the reason that we did this is that people kept saying, we kept hearing over and over and over, I know that I am supposed to be posting on social media, but I don't know what to say, okay? And this was driving me crazy because I'm like, it's so easy to know what to say. Like, you just learned this thing, but people still needed help. So we decided to add to the gym marketing prompts. So as you go through the regular gym, you earn marketing prompts. Once you practice a specific skill, you earn the prompts. It's a little bit different than with the exercise of the week. With the exercise of the week, it just comes instantly with that exercise. Okay, so let me show you what the exercise, I have to scroll all the way in between. Okay, so here is our first marketing prompt for the first exercise that we did when we looked at the balance sheet. Okay, it says, hey business owner, is your business cash or accrual? Most businesses start as cash basis, but eventually grow into an accrual. In fact, it's required once you get to a certain level. Did you know that QuickBooks Online makes it easy to switch? You can run a cash-based business and still see what your balance sheet would look like if you switch it to accrual. It's pretty easy. Let's get together and I'll show you. Okay. And then the other one is, Joel, if you could put that in the chat so everyone has it. If you're in the gym and you've earned 250 points, obviously you have it already. But for those of you who are not in the gym and who are joining us live, then Joel's going to put that in the chat, I'm sure, momentarily. And then for the second one we did about customizing reports, there it is. Thank you, Joel. And for the second one is, here's a sample post. Hey, business owner, you're probably looking at your profit and loss every month in QuickBooks Online. And if you're not, you should be. But did you know you can compare your P&L month over month right in the same report? It's probably easier than you think. Let's talk and I'll show you how it's done. Okay? So very simple marketing prompts. Now, the question always that comes next is, how do I use these? Where do I use these? In fact, Holly is asking in LinkedIn, where do we place a marketing prompt? In posts or featured? I have been posting them. I apologize. I'm so new at the marketing. Yes. So I don't have LinkedIn open to be able to show you. But yes, just in your posts. I don't even know what the featured thing is in LinkedIn. Just your posts. So let me just, why isn't that open? Hold on 1 second. I don't know why this isn't open already. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to, let's see, I still have my desktop shared. So let me just run through. I'm going to run through briefly how to use the marketing prompts. And if you attended our call on Tuesday that I did with Corey, we went over this. Okay. And then I'll talk to you about where, how it was different. Okay. So we are not a marketing company. I'm not a marketing company. I don't teach marketing at all. There are plenty of resources. In fact, if you go into our resources list, Joel, I don't know if you have that handy. It's fastandeasyqbo.com/resources. There are courses out there. There are people that actually help bookkeepers with marketing. That's not us. Okay. So that's not us. We do, however, recommend this one method of marketing because it works and it's free and it's easy. And And it's just a really, really great place to start. This is used by this marketing methodology is called the 3-2-1 method, and it is courtesy of Bolthouse. Bolthouse owns this intellectual property. We can use it with their permission. We have changed it up a little bit to match how to do this as a bookkeeper. Okay, so here's the 3-2-1 method. Here's how it works. 3 times per day, you are going to directly reach out to 3 individuals. Okay, so this is not sending a mass marketing message. This is not like posting a flyer somewhere. This is reaching out to 3 individual people, 3 specific people. You can do it via email, text, DM, phone call, whatever. And you are simply going to say, hey, I am a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. Who do you know that I could connect with? Okay, that's all you're doing. The entire purpose of this, you are not selling your services at this point. The people that you are talking to are almost never going to actually be potential clients. All you're doing at this point is you are expanding your network. Okay, you only know a certain number of people. Okay. But the people that you know other people, okay? So what you're trying to do is you are expanding your network, and you're just simply saying, hey, I'm a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. Who do you know that I could connect with, okay? You're not saying, who do you know that I can be their bookkeeper for? All you want to do is connect with people who are, small business owners that use QuickBooks Online. If you are looking to niche down, then if you're wanting to be a bookkeeper for dentists, you would say, hey, do you know any dentists, right? Like if Ilma was talking about food trucks, and I don't know if that came up because I always say that if I had to do it all over again, I would be a bookkeeper for food trucks. Because then every time you go to a food truck, you get to write it off. Anyway, so you could say, hey, do you know anybody that owns a food truck, right? Like that's all, that's all it is. You go to a food truck, and you say, hey, do you know other food truck owners? Like, how can I get involved in, knowing other food trucks? Like, I really am really interested in this, in this business. So you can do it via niche. You can do it just QuickBooks Online in general. For some people, for some reason, like this is really scary to just talk to people and ask for something. So another thing that you can do is you can just say, hey, guess what? I'm a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. Like, hey, how are you doing? Oh, great. I just became a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. And by the way, if you are not a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor, become one. Like, it's so easy. We make it fast. We make it easy. You can do it in a weekend. Joel's going to put our link down, there. We can help you do it in a weekend, or you can do it for free on Intuit's site, whatever. Just get that badge, get that certification, get some credibility, right? So all you're doing at this point is you are growing your network. That's all it is. Like, who do you know that I could connect with? It's all about people, okay? Then of that activity, so now you will have reached out to 15 in a week. You will have reached out to 15 people, and some of those people don't know anybody, and some people will know 15 people. Like I told this story the other day, a couple weeks ago. I was leaving the gym, and the receptionist said, hey, what do you do for a living? And I said, oh, I'm a QuickBooks Online trainer. And she says, oh my gosh, I know 2 people right off the top of my head that could use you. I didn't even ask her for anything. I just told her that's what I did. In fact, I know another bookkeeper who got her very first client just by saying, I'm a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. She went to a speed networking event for, I don't know, her community or I don't know, something. And she didn't know what to say. She had just started her business. She felt weird saying that she was a bookkeeper, but she had just gotten her QBO Pro Advisor. And so that's what she did. She went to the speed networking. She introduced everybody. Hi, yes, hi, I'm a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. Oh, hi, I'm a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. And then, people are like, oh my gosh, like I need you, right? And so then you stay in contact. The first step is just to widen your network, okay? So your goal out of all that activity is to 2 times per week connect to potential clients. And by connecting to 2 potential clients, you're still not vomiting all over them and telling them, you're a bookkeeper and don't they want to hire you? No, because being a bookkeeper is a very high trust. It's a very high trust thing. So people are always going to gravitate toward people they know versus just like responding to a cold ad on the internet. If you are going to be a bookkeeper, people are handing over their baby to you. Like they're handing over their business, their money, like their finances. This is a high trust thing, right? So the first thing that you have to do, you're going to widen your network, and then you're going to develop trust with these people. Okay. So you're going to, once you're getting connected, you're going to say, hey, I'm a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor, would love to stay connected in case you need any help. Okay, that's all it is. You're exchanging information. You're connecting with them on LinkedIn. And this is really important. You don't want to just get their business card, because then it's totally awkward if you ever were going to reach out to them, right? You're like, oh yeah, I met you one time at this party 6 months ago. No. Okay, you want to have them in your network, and you want to connect with them on LinkedIn so that you can be constantly reminding them that you exist. Okay. You want to make sure on your LinkedIn profile, on your byline, that it says you are a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. Okay, don't say QBO, say QuickBooks, because no one knows what that is. Say QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. By putting it in your byline, this is really important, like those first 30 characters or something, is really important, because every time you do anything on LinkedIn, it will say not just your name, but also that byline, or the first 28, 30 characters of, whatever. So you want to make sure that people see not only who you are, but what you do. Now, if you are a cleanup expert, this is what we talked about on Tuesday, you can alter these things up and say, hey, I'm not just a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor, but you can say I'm a QuickBooks Online cleanup expert if that's where you want to head in your business. So you can change this up a little bit. Okay. So once you connect on LinkedIn, you make sure that you have that in your bio. Then now you're going to post tips a couple of times a week. Okay. And this is where you're going to use those marketing prompts. You can use them as is, which is fine. It's a little more effective if you turn it into an image. So some people take it, put it in Canva, and put their branding, around it, like their website and stuff on it, on an image. I want to tell you about these marketing prompts. Don't expect that 1 million people are going to see your marketing prompt and they're going to reach out to you instantly. Okay. They're going to oh my gosh, I never knew how to customize my reports. Yes, please tell me everything. No, that's not it. What we're doing here is we are simply waving our flag to let people know I'm an expert in QBO. I'm an expert in QBO. I'm an expert in QBO. So that when the time comes that they need a bookkeeper, that they need somebody, that they need help, you are the one that they reach out to. Okay. It's the same as a real estate agent. How many times do people need real estate agents, right? A couple of times in their lifetime, right? And yet real estate agents constantly tell you that they are real estate agents. That's so that when you know somebody that's buying a house, you can, oh yeah, I know so-and-so's a real estate agent. Same thing with being a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor, being a bookkeeper, being a cleanup expert. You just want people to know that's what you do so that they can come to you. And by the way, your job is not ever to convince somebody that they need a bookkeeper. What you're looking for are the people who already know that they need a bookkeeper, or they need a cleanup because something has happened. They're trying to apply for a loan and their books are a mess. They're trying to sell their business and their books are a mess. Okay. Or they're going through a tax audit and their books are a mess. Okay. Whatever the thing is, you just want them to always think of you. Okay. So you're going to post your stuff a couple of times a week using our marketing prompts or whatever. There are people you can hire to do this for you. Okay. And then you also want to like and comment on other people's posts. Okay. So you're going to post a couple of times a day, and then you are going to spend a few minutes every day going through LinkedIn, and you're going to comment on other people's posts, and not other bookkeepers and accountants, guys, not other, but people who are your potential clients and or who are in your niche industry, whatever. Okay. Now, when you have that in your byline and you like it, okay, they will see that you, QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor, liked their stuff. Even better is if you comment on it. Again, they'll see your name and your byline. Now, when you comment on people's stuff, okay, do not sell your services. That is icky, right? Nobody wants to be sold to. So you are not saying, hey, they posted about their, kids' baseball game, and you're saying, hey, do you need a bookkeeper? No. You are being a normal, natural human being and making a connection with this person, and you're saying, hey, that kid has a great stance, good job, Dad. Or, you're just being a normal, natural human being. This is still not the time to sell to them, okay? As I mentioned, in general, all you're doing is you are waving your flag so that people know who to turn to when they need help, because you are getting them to know, like, and trust you, okay? This is so much. I know so many people really want to just do like cold ads. They want to pay for advertising or find like free leads or whatever. But those people, you really, it makes all the difference in the world to have a personal introduction, to have it be somebody in your network, to be like, it makes all the difference in the world. Okay. All right. So once you've done all of that activity, okay, then the goal is that once per month you do a diagnostic review. Okay. Now, a diagnostic review is, you can learn how to do a diagnostic review in our cleanup course. And I forgot to grab the link to the sale. So we're having a sale. This is why we did the thing on Tuesday with Corey about the cleanup, is that right now you can get the cleanup course for under $100, or not under $100. Oh my gosh, that'd be off. We would not be able to keep the lights on. No, it's under $1,000, under $1,000. And this is sales happening until August 9th. And and this is it. We're increasing the price after this because the cleanup course keeps getting more valuable. But this is not the time for me to, I'm not selling you on the cleanup course right now. You can learn how to diagnostic review from other people. There's YouTube videos, there's other mentors out there. However you do it, like, you have to be able to go into somebody's books and be able to diagnose what's wrong with them and how much it's going to cost for you to clean them up. And you always want to clean up books before you take over, because you can't do your job if the people before you didn't do their job. And so that's why you do a cleanup first. Every engagement should have a cleanup. But anyway, so you're going to land a diagnostic review, and if you're doing all of this activity, there's a good chance that people are going to reach out to you. Okay. But if they don't, then you can, after you have developed a relationship with somebody, they know who you are, you've been clicking back and forth, you know that they're a potential client, then you can reach out to them and simply say, hey, I'm a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. Would you like me to take a look at your books and see how you're doing? That's it. No obligation, no sales, whatever. I can just go in, I can look, see how you're doing. Okay. Or if you were in our cleanup course, you can actually say, hey, I just finished a course on diagnostic reviews. I would love some practice. Would it be okay, if I do that? Now, so that's how you're going to land that. Now, the thing that we covered in the workshop on Tuesday was the step from the phone call to getting the diagnostic review. Okay, so you get them on the phone, and then you have to gather some information before you then go do the diagnostic review. Okay, so that's what we covered on the workshop. And Joel, if you missed it and you want to watch the replay, then Joel's going to put that in the chat as well. We talked for an hour and a half, and we answered questions for half an hour. So that's what the recording is. And let me see. Okay. And what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, if you want, I forgot to give Joel the link to the sale. So you can either get the link from from watching the replay, or you can maybe it came out in the newsletter, or you can email support@fasteneasyqbo.com, and we'll get you the link for purchasing the cleanup for under $1,000 for only until August 9th. And then it's going to be like double that. Okay, so that is how you do it. So let me check to see if there are any questions. Okay. Featured is an area that highlights certain post works like favorites. Oh, that was talking about LinkedIn. Yeah, I don't know anything about it. I'm not a marketing person. Like, it's the only reason that I go over this is because so many people ask. So we just wanted to have like one method that we know works, that is free, that anybody can do. And yeah. So I don't know anything about LinkedIn. I wanted to, in case you did not see my post in the group yesterday, I watched this video that was so good, that was about, let's see, that's me live. There was this phrase that I said, I'm going to make this into a poster and put it on my wall. Like, this is so good. I wanted to, let's see, where can I find it? Where is it? Oh, here it is. Tolerate your feelings of incompetence. Okay. So, yeah, so there's this YouTube personality that I love, and he's a psychiatrist, medical doctor. And he said, I watched this little short, and he said, tolerate your feelings of incompetence. He was talking about social anxiety, but it's so applicable to us, right? Is that, especially when you're new, you don't know what you're doing. Maybe you don't feel like you have a lot of confidence. The gym is designed to give you confidence. Like, that is why we want you to be confident and competent. Okay, so the gym is designed to give you confidence, but still people have that little flutter, inside of them when they try and go out and start their business. And I know, I have been there. And so I thought this phrase, tolerate your feelings of incompetence, was so great, because that's really exactly what you have to do. I'm going to start incorporating that in my little 3-2-1 speech. Okay, let me go see what other questions. There's a off-topic one, so I'll get that at the end. I find people know QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor, then I am a Pro Advisor, I don't really understand that. Karen, thank you. Holly's still asking about posts for the featured section. I don't know. There is only a certain number you can add. So we're still talking about whether it's a post or a featured section. Couldn't you, in the featured section, couldn't you like rotate what's in the featured section? Like, couldn't you put a featured thing? I don't know. Like, and featured section, wouldn't they have to visit your page to see the featured section? Like, what you want is when people are scrolling, you want them to see your stuff. Okay. All right. Joel put the replay for the cleanup. Oh my gosh. So this is such a great comment. Oh my gosh. Wait, let me put this on. I got to remember how to do it. So Yui's talking about the workshop that we did on Tuesday. And she says, it was such a great workshop. Thank you. I attended and had a discovery call after, and I spoke confidently. Discovery call. That's the phrase that I should have used in the 3-2-1 method. So the discovery call is that the phone call that gets you the diagnostic review. Okay. So you're trying to land a diagnostic review. And before you do that, you have the discovery call. Oh my gosh. It is officially my hype video. You mean the one that gets you like excited and riled up? Yeah. Woohoo. All right. I'm so glad to hear that. Okay. So Lynn says, Margie, I'm new to the whole QuickBooks bookkeeping, etc. I just finished your course and passed the QuickBooks Pro Advisor. Woohoo! Kudos to your course. Thank you. But I need more skills in just bookkeeping. Any suggestions? Yes, the QBO gym. Yes, the QBO gym is how you get experience after. And we have been saying, so the difference between we say all the time, oh yeah, this is really for you to practice in the gym, and we don't really teach bookkeeping, but we realize that we do actually, because the gym is a simulated environment. Here's the difference between the free exercises and the gym. The free exercises are standalone feature-based exercises, similar to what we just did in the exercise of the week. It's one feature, we learn this one feature, and then we are, we know that specific feature and that's it. The gym is an entire simulated experience. So you have an entire year where you sit down to work, you interact with Craig, you process bank feeds, you apply checks to invoices, you send out invoices and late payments, and certain things happen in Craig's business that somebody contacts him and wants an estimate, or he works for 1 month, he works for a wedding planner and cleans up the yard for these weddings. And disasters, how like a tree falls, and then he's got these extra expenses and like all of this stuff. And it is like being a bookkeeper. So that is where you are going to get that actual experience. Being a bookkeeper is in the QBO gym. And if you would like to try it out, you can join the gym challenge. So the gym challenge is you have 5 days to work on an entire month of books. And Joel can put that he can put that in the chat as well, the gym challenge. And so you can try it out, see what it's like, but that's going to give you the skills. Okay, let's see. Paige probably signed off. Have a great weekend. Uyi is saying you can rotate it for sure, so you can rotate the featured post. So that's great. I'm still wondering though, do people have to visit your page in order to see it? So if they have to visit your page, like people aren't typically just going onto other people's pages unless they like want to find out something about them. They are typically they're just typically seeing like your stuff in their feed. And the more interaction you have on your stuff, there's a rule, like a 4-hour rule or something like that, is that if people interact with it within 4 hours, then it's more likely that they'll show up in other people's feeds. You guys are all welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn. I typically say you need to be connecting, when you're growing your network, you need to grow your network of potential clients, okay? Not I'm not a potential client. Okay. So you don't want to be connecting to, like, people connect to me and to Corey and to Hector Garcia and like all this. Those are not your potential clients. It's good to follow them so you can see like what they're posting and all that stuff. But really what you want to be focusing on is your potential business owners, people that are in your community, people that are in your niche, people that you have something in common with. If you like love Shih Tzus, then join a Shih Tzu group, like make friends, get out there. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So we're still talking about that. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to, there was a question previously that said this is off topic. Okay. All right. I know this is completely off the topic, but we covered this a couple of weeks back. After signing the engagement letter for our monthly fees, I know you said we send sales receipts instead of an invoice to get paid immediately. Yes. Does that mean we should not send an invoice at all for monthly bookkeeping? Yes. Yes. You should be using a sales receipt and automatically charging their card or debiting their ACH. Now, and you use QuickBooks Payments to do that. So sign up for a QuickBooks Payments account, and then you can have a sales receipt that automatically charges their card or does their ACH every single time. Okay? Now, I will tell you that just the other day, like 2 days ago, there is a big hullabaloo in one of the groups about QuickBooks holding on to money and not dispersing it to you right away. I don't know anything about that. I am no longer using sales receipts that way because I don't have bookkeeping clients anymore. So I don't know what's happening with that. But yes, do not send an invoice to your clients, because then your client has to pay it. Your client has to take the money. And I will tell you, as a business owner, I find it extraordinarily annoying when I have several people that I contract with that I pay, every month for what their services. And the majority of them, I just, it just pays automatically. But there are a couple that send me a bill that I then have to pay. And that, oh my gosh, that is so annoying. So yeah, don't do that to your business owners, and don't do that to yourself. You want to collect the money. You don't want to be chasing your business owners ever for payment. Don't do that. Okay. All right. Let's see. Going back. Okay. So going back to the pin. So the featured posts. Uyi says they have to visit your page to see the featured posts. So yes, so you can put them in the featured posts, but you don't, rarely are people actually going to visit your page. So what you really want to do is just put them in the posts. And what I started to say earlier, but I got distracted, was that you can put them in as is. I mean, the important thing is that you're posting. And that you're posting consistently. I heard somebody say the other day that you can't expect to just go to the gym once and then suddenly you have you have this perfect body. You have to go consistently. So anyway, so you can use them as is. It's more effective to plug them in to an image, say use Canva, brand it, that kind of thing. And then I have one student who actually plugs it into ChatGPT, creates a whole article about it, puts on our blog, puts it, up there. So that's another, the important thing, guys, I'm not tied to my marketing prompts. Do whatever you want. The important thing is that you are posting consistently and constantly waving your flag to tell people what you do. Okay, that's the important thing. Okay, all right. And I think that's it for all of the chats. So I think that we are done, guys. Next week, where am I? Let's see, what am I doing here? All right. So next week, Monday, Mindset Monday, and then I will see you for our next live stream. I'm not going out of town anytime soon, so I will be in town for a couple of weeks, and in 2-ish weeks, we have a very special live stream happening in August. If you guys were around with us last year, you know what happened in August, and that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say about that. So anyway, that's it. You guys have a great weekend. I can't wait to hear your success story.